This is a friendly reminder that this submarine is outfitted with an internal defense system turret. Do not continue to interact with the console. Stand back from the hatch.
Okay, that's much better. Much smoother in the audio department, so that's good. But there was something over there. Also, let me know if I should do some, like, voiceover content, since I really do enjoy, you know, doing all of this. I know it's not the highest quality, but I like to think that it's something. And, you know, we all start somewhere, and for me, this is what that is. But, how have y'all been? I mean, I don't really have anybody to talk to or any music to listen to like usual, since now I'm... Oh, by the way, here's a little trick that I figured out. Just trust me. It also takes no HP, so, if you need to get away from an angler, but, for some weird reason lockers don't spawn, then there you go. There's a way for you to... Although it is very difficult to time. I wonder if it works on this side. Probably doesn't, though, since it's intentional either. Also, I'll be trying to do this without lights, since I don't want you all to get the absolute headache that I get when I use lights in this game. So, yeah. Also, what do you think of this OST? I like it. I like it a lot more than the original one, actually. It's... feels a little drudgy, meanwhile this feels like, oh hey, this will just be a nice little job, and then after the first encounter, it's more like, oh, this is hell. And yep. The coveted bell ring. Little advice, don't stay in a locker for longer than you gotta. We're going through this way. Thought that wasn't well. Well, I know which door is fake. Evil man door. It's weird. I like how you can hear them breathing through the vent. Nice little amount of acoustic design. Let me lower the volume so y'all can better hear me. How the... Sir, I need this chest. Sir, I need this stuff. Sir, I need this stuff. Sir, I need this. I require this equipment, sir. Ah, yes, the creepy bridge. If y'all saw my last few pressure videos, you know that I don't like this place. Since, you know, all of this exists. But, before I couldn't really talk through it, so I just kind of, you know... Yeah. But, now we're at the ridge, quote-unquote. It doesn't have the difficulty of the ridge. But I heard something. You know, funny story that I wanted to share with y'all, I guess that's the door. Funny story I wanted to share with y'all. I'm not sure if I was able to catch this on camera and record it. I'll see if in my older files if I did post it, but right now I'm lazy, so I'll probably do that sometime tomorrow. But, so, basically, what happened was, wait. Thank you. Oh, now that is just cruel. You know, their grunting reminds me of a lot of Transformers grunting. Like, listen. You know, maybe I should steal the sound file and, you know, make that my Transformers grunting noise in one of my AUs, or Primaxes, as us cultured fans call them. Then again, who even reads the Trans-Tech comics? Sorry, I had to real quick do something. But, let's see. Oh yeah, the story. So I was dealing with a bunch of wall dwellers, because like one went from this side, one went from that side, one went from basically everywhere. And it was just like back to back to back to back in the same room on an endless mode. And I think what happened was the game file glitched, and when those are supposed to be other enemies, they just all kind of became wall dwellers, which I found quite nerve-wracking. So, yeah. That's why I may sound a little on edge. Or stupid. So yeah. Wall dwellers back to back to back. Go. You know, something the wall dwellers always reminded me of was the Spark Eaters from Transformers. They always reminded me of those. I don't know. I also... Oop. Let me just walk up here and hope it's not a pandemonium. It is indeed not a pandemonium. Otherwise, that would have been bad. But I always thought of making like a pressure Transformers crossover. I don't know. My vast knowledge of Transformers and my vast knowledge of pressure, you know. I feel like I could make something interesting. Maybe like Scrounge could be like Painter or something. And maybe like Blaster could be like Sebastian or something. Or maybe Twincast, since in my AU, Blaster becomes Twincast. There's some unruly ways. So, I don't know, maybe it could be like a nice little allegory, you know, combining my... oh, fuck. combining my pressure AU with, you know, my Transformers AU. Also, YouTube, I didn't say the F word, I said fug. Fug is very different, totally. Totally modally. And also, oh, well, I have not seen this room type before. It is, that's concerning. I hope I don't know what they were trying to keep out. I mean, of course, besides Infestation, but, you know. What the? Let's hope is not. Let's not risk it. Let's not risk it for that bovine biscuit. Well, I guess I can go through with this, since, you know, nobody watches my videos anyway. Woohoo! I get to do whatever I want. And then allow me to shove it inside. Hello, Infestation. You know, I don't see how people find Infestation difficult. It's just like, you know, it's just that. I also wanted to do like a little thing where like every time there we go. Or like every time I die in a game, I need to swap the game. I think that would be an interesting thing. Ooh, you tried, so then also why didn't he go through the door? That was weird. But, also, yeah, no Sebastian, sadly. Since, you know. I also was wondering if there were angels in Transformers. Like, I know, like, the 13 Primes, you know, their disciples, the Power Masters that house them. You know, the 13's personal titans, the last Autobot, the, town commanders, you know, the sub-planets, which I like to think the colonies are like demigods for Primus. Like, okay, so I'm not sure if any of you know this, but basically Primus has an army of gods. And I like to think all of his colonies are gods. And, like, all of the colony worlds are gods. So, like, you know, Nebulon or Beast Planet or Gaia or whatever. I still haven't picked which one. Like, one of those is, like, well, transforms into, of course, Gaia. Then, like, Unicron turns into, well, Unicron. I mean, he's a plant. Or not a plant. A planet eater. Why would he name himself a planet? I mean, it's just like Unicron. I guess the planet could be named Unicron. I mean, it does have allegory names, like the Scroll of Demise, since, you know, he's kind of, at least in some Primaxes, all-knowing, so, I don't know, I felt like the Scroll of Demise, since you usually have to unfold a scroll, you know? That's just something I thought of. I'm still working on the other ones. I don't feel like... so this is far enough away. Also, I feel like I heard a wall dweller snap, so let me look at that real quick. I scared myself half to death. Wow. Oh, that was a very bad idea. I just wasted the battery. Well, look at me wasting stuff. But, I know Chronarchitect and Tornadron aren't, planet formers. Since not all gods in my AU are planet formers, but I was also thinking of maybe making, like, the Sky God, like, a colony world, I don't know. Ooh, that's not good. Yeah, that's better. But I was thinking of, like, making some worlds into like I don't know. Maybe Gaia should be Caminus, but then again, she's larger than Primus in my continuity. Also, the guiding hand isn't actually made out of sorry. Isn't actually made out of the MTMTE guiding hand. Also, a little hot take, but I really do not like TFP and MTMTE. I don't understand how people can find those to be the pinnacles. And also the fact that it's related to autocracy just feels... it feels not right. You know? But on the other hand, the guiding hand is made out of Primus's brother. So of course we have Primus, who will always be part of the guiding hand. Then we have Kron Architect. Then we have Gaia. Then we have Unicron, and then we have Unicron's brother Tornadron, who was loosely related to Primus. It's more like a half-brothery situation. So, So that's the guiding hand. And then, I feel like when Tornadron and Unicron get exiled, I feel like, Kron Architect's quote-unquote son, which is his apprentice, Adeptus would, join the party. And, well, then I guess they would join the Dark Council with Gravis and Devoid, I guess. By the way, thanks to a friend of mine who they actually have a YouTube channel, which I will link in the description. What the heck is this? Oh, hi Blitz. Oh, it's just the Paranoise box. But a friend of mine who has a channel, I will link it. It's a very good channel actually. I was ranting and told them about Mortalus being the Cybertronian god of death in the universe, and he was like, "That's stupid." And then we were like, true. And then he recommended Gravedigger, and I was like, "That's too simple." And then I was like, why don't I just translate it to Latin? I mean, most gods are named in Latin. So then we got Gravis something. I forget the other part, I just call him Gravis. I think it's like Gravis Fraternium or something, I don't know. And then like we had this whole other thing where like we were talking about the gods and how Mortal or Gravis basically makes plagues for all of the gods' creations. Like I'm not sure if I said this, but there's like primarily Adeptus's creatures. So basically the Fossilizers, which is a creation of Adeptus in my Primax universe, has a parasite called the Transactor, and the Transactor basically turns them into Spark Eaters. Well, it's been nice knowing you. But turns them into Spark Eaters.
You know the drill by now, don't you?
And basically then makes them hungry for Primus's creations and other fossilizers as well.
Maybe keep your ears open next time. She's incredibly easy to distinguish from the others, surely.
Yeah, Sebastian. And then a thing that happens is basically they go all hungry and insane. Have overgrown the Treecons or tree bots or bark bots.
Please step back from the village.
Basically wood guys. And they basically the growth is
when they get all like weird and creepy, it's basically become a genetic mutation that basically turns them into the Vita Carnis mimics. So yeah, I don't know. I felt like giving them all some kind of like horror side to them, since usually death is scary. So like the Barconians or whatever I call them. I'll just call them the Trecons. The Trecons like are meant to base the more stalking feeling of fear, how you know that it's inevitable and no matter what happens, you won't be able to run from it forever. You will merely be able to delay its inevitability. And the Spark Eaters, well, they're kind of like necromonkized, I guess you could say. And overall, just like, I don't know. It's like, I guess like the fact that your heart can be your biggest weakness, and that scares some people. Which they have all rights to be scared about that, by the way. I'm not trying to de-fearize it. I mean, it's a completely valid fear. I have it myself sometimes. But I was also thinking that I haven't done anything with the Infernac boys yet. But I will say that the Rock Lords will have a more bashful one. So I was thinking that Gravis would basically turn them into sand and sludge via using a plague. I don't know. But I was thinking it would be more of a deathly plague to its species than to be more of like a loss of, because fun fact, Gravis physically cannot make other species, but technically also gains parasites. But I was thinking that a pad. The Cosmic Barnacles, or whatever they're called at that point, I don't even remember what they're called, would basically be like a creation of his that basically goes in between the rocks and stones, and then like kind of turns them organic and fleshy, and basically slowly mutates and decays them in their flesh and stuff. I know it would be really gory and, Sorry, I just had to check a notification. And, like, basically it'd kind of be like a zombie infection. I mean, all of these plagues and viruses do kill the host, but then they also reanimate the host. So I guess that's kind of ironic that he's named Gravis, since that just means grave, or grave digger in Latin, but I don't remember digger in Latin, so yeah, just gonna have to deal with that, I guess. And then Epestimus. I haven't really decided on anything for Epestimus, since his role is basically filled out by Alpha Trion. And that is about it. And, oh yeah, by the way, I saw that. So, but, like, his role is basically filled up by Alpha Trion and Vector Prime and Chron Architect, so, what another god of knowledge? Like, we already have a god of invention. In fact, we have several, basically. So, sorry for that voice crack. I don't really know what to do with him. I mean, I could just not include him, but he's part of the Precursor Brotherhood, so... Whoops, almost got electrocuted there. So, like, it just doesn't really feel right to not use him, but it's also like, there are so many people like him, what would I do with you? It's more like it's more like a I don't know and less of a I don't want to. It's just I don't know how to incorporate him. All I know is that I need to incorporate him somehow. And Solomus is just the forging god. He just forges godly weapons that he made Plasmatria, which is, again, special metal in my series. And he basically made it alongside other god metals like Nitonium, which is stronger than Electrum. Woohoo, little fun fact for you. And you're probably like, oh, Electrum, the real world metal? No, I'm talking about the golden pool of the Golden Lagoon. Golden Lagoon metal. Which, that is a very potent metal. It's almost completely indestructible unless a higher metal strikes it, so, yeah, that's how you know it's high quality. Especially when Solomus makes it. And yes, in my Solomus did inspire Solus. Since, you know, they were very similar in the Precursor world. Well, Solus didn't exist in the Precursor world, but, like, overall, they were quite, similar, so I like to think, well, in my AU, I like to make some things where it's not necessarily confirmed. Where, like, Primus was like, you know, you both have hammers, and you're both forging guys, so why don't I, you know, kind of make you, like, his and stuff, and then, yeah. And all of the 13 actually have a, god. Since, each of the 13 were made after one of Primus's associates. So, I don't really know. Oh, I guess that's how I could incorporate Alpha Trion. Yeah, I'm just gonna stay down here. Maybe like a Pessimist could have inspired Alpha Trion or something. I don't know. And I know Unicron inspired the Fallen, which well, he doesn't necessarily become evil. It's just that he has ties with Unicron, so he's forced to be evil. Otherwise, very bad things will happen. But he has moments of consciousness where he's his more heroic self. So he also kind of just has, you know, kind of just a bunch of insane voices in his head, I guess. He's kind of like Moon Knight if Khonshu was evil. Or would it be eviler? I don't necessarily know much about Khonshu. So, yeah, that's, my bad. I really should probably learn more about Khonshu. Because I really do like Moon Knight. Also, fun fact, Transformers was owned by Marvel. So, yeah. But, maybe a Pessimist was, like, the base for Alpha Trion, Chron Architect, Vector Prime, Solomus, Solus, no, Gaia. I don't really know.
Hey, look out the window.
Now, for, like Gaia, I don't know. I guess Quintus. I mean, they're both very creative gods who make very solitary species. So I guess, Solus could be inspired, or not Solus, Quintus could be inspired by Gaia. Tornadron is the inspiration for Liege Maximo in my AU. The God of Combination is quite an interesting little thingy. He is actually the General of Darkness, or well, became the General of Darkness after the whole splittage. Basically, the 13 were kind of like spirits from the Precursor world. They kind of had everything wiped, but they were still, you know, they were basically golden formers from, you know, that whole comic. And then Primus was like, you know what? Y'all are pretty cool. Let me reincarnate you. So they're all kind of based off of a god. They all have attributes from when they were like younger, I suppose, if you could even call it that. And then they like, you know, but Nexus Prime actually, his god that he was based off becomes the Dark General. Nobody actually knows the god's name except for it being the Dark General. Whoop-de-doo, who would have thunk? And, well, the Dark General of Unicron's army is basically the god of combination. He can force things together. He was also, fun fact, a Vok. He is a Vok. Or at least he is a Vok. He revealed himself to be a Vok, like, hello, idiots. I'm a Vok. Woohoo. I'm like y'all's ancient enemy. Even more ancient of an enemy than the Quintesson. So, yeah, look at me and my awesome, super cool glorification. Which, Unicron was like, hey, I like you. Ow. And then, yeah. Classic little vocular tricks, I suppose. And, then Onyx Prime, I don't know, honestly. I mean, I guess the Oracle, since the Oracle is based off of an ape. But I always like to, well, they all are original, but they have gods that Primus likes to relate them to. Like, hey, I made this Prime as a gift for you. They aren't like descendants of those gods, they're just like little gifts from Primus. And, yeah. But, Onyx Prime kind of just doesn't have a god that he was gifted to. He just kind of has Chala, or Chila, and their Power Master, who I forget the name of. So, like, they're kind of just, like, alone. Just kind of alone. They don't have a god. But Tornadron quite likes them, even though, you know, he already has Legion Maximo. Legion Maximo he kind of doesn't like. Not that he doesn't like Primus's gifts, well, while Tornadron was still in line. But, well, he was never really in line. It was more like a gift that he gave Unicron, and then Unicron was like, I already have the Fallen, so let me give this to Tornadron. And then Tornadron was like, oh, hey, a guy. So, yeah. But, like, they were all more like, you know... They're all more related. They're not like pets or kin. I don't mean to make them sound like pets or kin or gifts. They're just kind of like, hey, these precursor gods, you know, these precursor souls were like, you know, they're no longer precursory like us, so let's fix that. But actually, some of them, like Gigatron, who were not originally made by Primus, they just kind of denied it. Never mind, I'm going back. Well, then let me rephrase it. They weren't references to the gods as much, well, as much as they were religious symbols for the god. But hey, what do I know? I'm a guy playing pressure. And also, this is just what's speculated. They were religious symbols for gods, kind of like priestial. Kind of like why Prima is quote-unquote the most holy. Even though, in my coveted AU, he's not the most holy. But, yeah, that's Alpha Trion. Alpha Trion is the most holiest of holes. Of holies. Oh, hi, Wildwater. Didn't hear you. Thought you would have
Back
died.
so soon.
Oh, come on, I didn't even use a Ferryman token this time.
Turn around.
But, this is all also speculation. This isn't confirmed by me. It's just all speculation in the universe. Since I like to not confirm everything, it makes so I will not confirm why the primes were made. It's just one of the many theories give religion to the other.
You have reached your destination. Prepare for deployment.
And, that's just one of the many theories. Well, in my series, I want to hear your theories. And, yeah. Also, by the way, the 13 are one of the few beings that can't be affected by the whole universe switching. The only thing that can actually switch is their artifacts. So, like, in one universe, Quintus can have the Matrix. In another universe, Solus Prime can have the Star Saber. It's a whole jizz-a-mahal. It's a whole jazz hang situation. And overall, that's why I like them so much. They can't have their morality changed no matter what universe you go to. The Fallen will always be mentally screwed in the head, whatever universe you go to. Liege Maximo will be a manipulative douche. Just all those things that I like. But, speaking of, Shattered Glass, not Shattered Glass, but alternate universes segue to Shattered Glass ensues. The Titans can be affected, so, like, the moralities of the 13 won't change, but their Titans and Power Masters, those can definitely change. So, like, Chala and Onyx disagree a lot because of their, views on how to fix the, Robotoid problem, aka Transformers who are, Beast Formers. And, that brings up a lot of problems. And I really like the idea that some of the Titans didn't have all peaches and roses when it comes to the relationships they had with the 13. More like, their dynamics changed. Like, the Fallen actually resorted to, killing his Titan, fun fact, via using the Requiem Blaster on its maximum setting. Because of the fact that it basically was like, you know what?
Hey!
I'm sorry. It was basically like, well, how about we just enslave all of Cybertron? And then he was like, no. And then he was like, wait, but hear me out. Enslave them. And he was like, no. This is a firm no. There is no going around this. This is just a no, and that is it. And then he was like, but enslavement. And then, they got into whole arguments and fights, and then they grew more and more apart, and then eventually the Fallen, when he started to get fucked up by Unicron, eventually decided that, hey, it's time that I murder you. So now you're murdered. And then they basically just went on. Just kind of existed. But also there are some other of the 13 that I want to work on when it comes to their lore and personality. Like, Vector Prime to some may seem insane and overpossessive of his items, but he's just an old guy who... That was scary. That was a very bright red. Brighter red than usual. Then again, it was a more compact space. But, like, he's just an old guy who wants to protect his stuff, because he knows how important to the universe his stuff is. So, like, him and a version of Star Commander, or, Optimus Prime, was like, hey, maybe don't. And then he was like, but the universe, the big picture. So he usually sounds like a narcissistic maniac. They also needed to destroy a relic, and Vectorpawn was like, no, that's vital to this time stream. And then he was like, yes, I know that, Vector, but, like, we need this to find the 4 cyber planet keys. Which, by the way, in my AU, there are more than, or 4. There's more than 4 cyber planet keys. Did I say 5? I feel like such an idiot for saying 5 cyber planet keys. Apologies. I sound like such a fake thing. Also, actually, I wanted to get to culture. Stuff. I don't like that. Why did it look like there was a document? Or maybe I'm just going crazy. Yeah, it was just going crazy. But, now that I'm away from that, speaking on a culture, there is a samurai, team, or a samurai tactician force. Was it technician? I think those are 2 very things. I think a technician and a tactician are quite different. But, they had, I will edit on screen, cause I don't remember their names. Oh, hey, it's the meme. But, yeah, and they basically, well, one of them made Metal Door or whatever it's called. The other one made, I forget what it's called. But one of them made a more swifter jutsu, and the other one made a jutsu similar to the one that Prowl used in Transformers Roboton, or not Roboton Sky 2001. Yeah, animated. It was animated. So something he used in animated. Okay, at this point, I just want to see something. But, like, I will probably continue this lore in another, things. This is getting quite long-winded, so, I will die here, and then I will probably make a video. Bye-bye.